Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, English Learn Hub 1. How to learn Excel work. A complete beginner to professional guide. Microsoft Excel is one of the most useful computer programs in the modern workplace. It is used by businesses, offices, schools, shops, companies, accountants, managers, freelancers, and many other professionals. Excel can be used to organize information, calculate numbers, create reports, manage lists, analyze data, track expenses, prepare invoices, create charts, and build professional dashboards. Learning Excel is not only about learning formulas. A good Excel user needs to understand how to enter and organize data, use formulas and functions, format spreadsheets, analyze information, create reports, and solve problems efficiently. The best way to learn Excel is step by step. A complete beginner should first learn the basic interface and then gradually move toward formulas, functions, data analysis, pivot tables, dashboards, and advanced tools. 1. Understanding Excel. Before learning advanced Excel, you should understand the basic structure of the program. An Excel file is called a workbook. A workbook can contain several worksheets. A worksheet is made of rows and columns. Rows are identified by numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Columns are identified by letters such as A, B, C, D, and E. The intersection between a row and a column is called a cell. For example, the cell where column A and row 1 meet is called A1. Understanding cells is extremely important because Excel formulas use cell references. For example, equals A1 plus B1. This formula tells Excel to add the value in A1 to the value in B1. You should spend some time becoming comfortable with the Excel interface before moving to complicated topics. 2. Learning data entry. Data entry is one of the first Excel skills you should learn. You need to know how to enter names, numbers, dates, prices, quantities, addresses, product information, customer information, employee information. For example, you could create a simple sales table, product quantity, price pin 10, 5. Book 5, 20 bag, 250. You should practice entering information into cells, editing information, deleting information, copying information, and moving information. The goal is to become comfortable using the keyboard and mouse while working with Excel. 3. Learning basic formatting. After learning data entry, you should learn formatting. Formatting makes your spreadsheet easier to read and more professional. Important formatting skills include changing font size, changing font type, bold, italic, underline, text alignment, borders, cell formatting, number formatting, currency formatting, percentage formatting, decimal places, row height, column width, wrap, text, merge and center. For example, a report title can be made larger and bold, while column headings can be formatted so they are easy to recognize. You should learn to keep spreadsheets clean and organized, rather than adding unnecessary formatting everywhere. 4. Learning basic mathematical formulas. After learning formatting, you should learn basic formulas. Excel formulas normally begin with an equal sign. For example, equals 10 plus 20 will calculate 30. You can also use cell references, equals A1 plus B1. Basic mathematical operators include plus for addition, minus for subtraction, times for multiplication, slash for division. For example, if A2 contains quantity and B2 contains price, you can calculate total price with equals A2 times B2. This is one of the most useful basic formulas. 5. Learning essential Excel functions. After basic formulas, you should learn Excel functions. Functions are built-in formulas that perform specific tasks. One of the most important functions is sum. For example, equals sum open parenthesis A1 colon A10 close parenthesis. This adds all the numbers from A1 through A10. Another important function is average, equals average A1 to A10. It calculates the average. You should also learn equals max A1 to A10 to find the highest number, equals min open parenthesis A1 colon A10 close parenthesis to find the lowest number, equals count open parenthesis A1 colon A10 close parenthesis to count cells containing numbers, equals count A open parenthesis A1 colon A10 close parenthesis to count non-empty cells. These functions are simple but extremely useful in everyday Excel work. Understanding cell references. Cell references are an important concept. There are different types of references, including relative and absolute references. A relative reference can change when a formula is copied. For example, equals A, 1 times B, 1 if you copy the formula to the next row. Excel may change it to equals A 2 times B2. An absolute reference stays fixed. For example, $, equals $1. This is useful when one particular value needs to remain constant while you copy a formula. You should practice both types of references because they become important when creating larger spreadsheets. 7. Learning the if function. The if function allows Excel to make decisions. For example, equals if open parenthesis, A1 greater than or equal to 50, comma, quote, pass quote, comma quote, fail, quote, close parenthesis. This means that if the value in A1 is 50 or higher, Excel displays pass. Otherwise, it displays fail. If can be used for many real-world tasks. For example, paid or unpaid, pass or fail, completed or pending, available or unavailable, profit or loss. Once you understand if, you can start creating more intelligent spreadsheets. 8. Learning SUMIF and COUNTIF. SUMIF and COUNTIF are useful when you want Excel to work with specific conditions. SUMIF can calculate a total based on a condition. For example, if you have sales records for different products, SUMIF can calculate the total sales for one particular product. COUNTIF can count how many cells meet a particular condition. For example, you could count how many orders have the status completed. After learning these, you can move on to SUMIFs, COUNTIFs, AVERAGEIF, AVERAGEIFs. These functions are useful when working with larger data sets. 9. Sorting and filtering data. Sorting and filtering are essential Excel skills. Imagine you have thousands of customer records. You may want to see only customers from one city or sort customers by name. Sorting can arrange data A to Z, Z to A, smallest to largest, largest to smallest, oldest to newest, newest to oldest. Filtering allows you to temporarily display only the information you need. For example, you could filter a sales report to show only one product or 1 month. These features can save a lot of time. 10. Learning Excel tables. Excel tables are useful for organizing data. A table can automatically provide filtering, structured formatting, and easier data management. You should learn how to create a table, add rows, add columns, Filter information. Sort information. Use table formulas. Format tables. Tables are especially useful for sales records, customer lists, inventory, employee records, orders. 11. Conditional formatting. Conditional formatting allows Excel to automatically highlight information based on rules. For example, you could highlight high sales, low sales, overdue dates, duplicate values, high scores, low stock. Suppose you have an inventory spreadsheet. You could create a rule that highlights products with very low stock. This makes important information easier to notice. 12. Data validation. Data validation controls what users can enter into cells. One common use is creating a drop-down list. For example, a status column could contain pending, completed, canceled. Instead of typing these words manually, users can select them from a drop-down. Data validation is useful for creating professional forms and spreadsheets. 13. Learning charts. Charts turn numbers into visual information. Excel provides different types of charts, including column charts, bar charts, line charts, pie charts, area charts. For example, if you have sales from January to December, a line chart can show how sales changed throughout the year. You should learn how to create charts, change chart types, add titles, add labels, resize charts, move charts, select appropriate charts. The goal is not to make charts simply because they look nice. The chart should make the information easier to understand. 14. Learning VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is a famous Excel function. It can search for information in a table and return related information. For example, imagine you have a product ID and a table containing product information. You can use VLOOKUP to find product name, price, category, stock. VLOOKUP is still common in many workplaces, so it is useful to understand. 15. Learning XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is a newer lookup function available in modern versions of Excel. It is more flexible than VLOOKUP in many situations. You can use it to search for information and return a corresponding value. For example, you could enter a customer ID and have Excel automatically return the customer's name. If you want professional Excel skills, XLOOKUP is worth learning. 16. Learning text functions. Excel can also manipulate text. Important text functions include left, right, mid, len, trim, upper, lower, proper, concat, text. Join, for example. Trim can help remove unnecessary spaces. Upper can convert text into uppercase. Lower can convert text into lowercase. Proper can format names so the first letter of each word is capitalized. These functions are especially useful when cleaning data. 17. Learning date functions. Dates are common in Excel. You may need to calculate days between dates, months, years, deadlines, working periods. Useful functions include today, now, date, day, month, year, weekday. Learning dates can be very useful for office work and business spreadsheets. 18. Data cleaning. Real-world data is often messy. You might receive a spreadsheet containing duplicate records, extra spaces, missing information, different date formats, incorrect spelling, inconsistent names. Excel provides tools for cleaning this data. Learn how to remove duplicates, find and replace, use trim. Split data into columns, standardize information, identify missing values. Data cleaning is a valuable professional skill because companies often need their data organized before they can analyze it. 19. Pivot tables. Pivot tables are one of the most important advanced Excel features. They allow you to summarize large amounts of data quickly. Imagine you have 20,000 sales records. Instead of manually calculating everything, a pivot table can summarize total sales by product, total sales by employee, sales by month, sales by city, number of orders, average sales. Pivot tables are extremely useful for reporting and analysis. Once you understand them, you will be able to work with much larger data sets more efficiently. 20. Pivot charts. Pivot charts work with pivot tables to create visual reports. For example, you could create a pivot table showing monthly sales and then create a chart showing the same information visually. This can be useful for business reports, sales reports, management reports, performance analysis. 21. Creating Excel dashboards. A dashboard is a visual report that presents important information in one place. A sales dashboard might contain total sales, total orders, number of customers, monthly sales, top products, sales by region charts. Dashboards require several Excel skills together, including formulas, tables, charts, pivot tables, and formatting. You should learn dashboards after becoming comfortable with intermediate Excel. 20-22. Learning Power Query. Power Query is an advanced Excel tool used for importing and transforming data. It can help you import data, clean data, combine files, transform columns, remove unwanted information, prepare data for analysis. For example, if you receive several similar files every month, Power Query can help automate parts of the process. You do not need Power Query when you are a complete beginner. Learn it after becoming comfortable with normal Excel functions. 23. Learning keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts can make you faster. Some useful shortcuts include Control+C, copy, Control+V, paste, Control+X, cut, Control+Z, undo, Control+S, tabiai, Control+F, find, Control+H, replace, Control+A, select, Control+B, bold, Control+P, print. You do not need to memorize hundreds of shortcuts immediately. Start with the shortcuts you use frequently. 24. Practice is more important than watching tutorials. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is watching many tutorials without practicing. Watching a tutorial gives you information, but practice develops your skill. A better method is learn, practice, make mistakes, fix mistakes, repeat. For example, after learning SUM, create your own small sales spreadsheet and calculate the total. After learning IF, create a student result sheet. After learning pivot tables, create a sales dataset and summarize it. This type of practice will make your knowledge stronger. 25. Create realistic projects. Projects are one of the best ways to learn Excel. You can create an expense tracker containing date, category, description, amount, payment method. Then calculate total expenses and spending by category. You can create a sales report containing product, quantity, price, salesperson, date, total sales. You can create an inventory system containing product ID, product name, stock, price, stock status. You can create an employee attendance sheet containing employee name, date, present, absent, leave. You can create a student result sheet containing student name, subject marks, total, average, grade, result. Projects help you understand how Excel is used in real situations. 26. A 30-day Excel learning approach. You can divide your learning into stages. Days 1 to 5, learn. Excel interface, rows, columns, cells, worksheets, workbooks, data entry, basic formatting, days 6 to 10. Learn addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, sum, average, max, min, count. Practice with small spreadsheets, days 11 to 15. Learn if, sum if, count. If, sorting, filtering, tables, conditional formatting, data validation. Days 16 to 20. Learn charts, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, text functions. Date functions, data cleaning, days 21 to 25. Learn pivot tables, pivot charts. More advanced formulas, report creation, days 26 to 30. Build complete projects. For example, 1. Expense tracker 2. Sales report 3. Inventory system 4. Student result system 5. Simple dashboard. By the end, you should have a much better understanding of how Excel works. 27. How to become professional. To become good at Excel, you need more than basic formulas. You should develop 4 major abilities. First, accuracy. Your calculations must be correct. Second, speed. You should be able to complete common tasks efficiently. Third, organization. Your spreadsheets should be clean and easy to understand. Fourth, problem solving. You should know how to find an Excel solution when someone gives you a problem. Professional Excel work is not about knowing thousands of formulas. It is about knowing how to solve problems with the tools available. 28. Excel for freelancing. Excel can also be useful for freelancing. Possible services can include data entry, spreadsheet formatting, data cleaning, Excel formulas, sales reports, inventory spreadsheets, expense trackers, dashboard creation, data organization. However, before offering professional services, you should practice enough to produce accurate work. Create several sample projects first. Your portfolio could include a professional sales report, an inventory spreadsheet, an expense tracker, a dashboard, a cleaned data set. These projects can demonstrate your abilities. 29. Don't learn everything at once. Excel is a huge program. There are hundreds of features and functions. You do not need to learn all of them. Start with the skills that are most useful. A good order is basics, formatting, formulas, functions, sorting/filtering, tables, IF, lookups, charts, data cleaning, pivot tables, dashboards, Power Query. This prevents you from becoming overwhelmed. 30. The best learning strategy. A strong Excel learning strategy is to spend a little time learning and a lot of time practicing. For example, if you study for 1 hour, 20 minutes can be used for learning. 40 minutes can be used for practice. When you learn a new formula, do not immediately move to another formula. Create several examples with it. Try changing the numbers. Try changing the conditions. Try creating your own spreadsheet. When you make an error, do not simply delete it. Find out why the error happened. Errors are part of learning Excel. 31. What you should know at each level. At the beginner level, you should understand cells, rows, columns, data entry, formatting, basic formulas, sum, average, MN, max, count. At the intermediate level, you should understand if, sum if, count if, sum ifs, count is, tables, sorting, filtering, conditional formatting, data validation, charts, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, text and date functions. At the advanced level, you should understand pivot tables, pivot charts, dashboards, advanced lookups, data cleaning, Power Query, advanced reporting, efficient spreadsheet design. 32. Final advice learning. Excel takes time, but it becomes much easier when you learn systematically. Do not compare yourself with someone who has been using Excel for years. Start with one skill. Understand it. Practice it. Then move to the next skill. For example, learn sum today and create a small sales sheet. Tomorrow, learn average and practice it. Then learn if and create a pass/fail spreadsheet. Continue this process until you can combine multiple features into complete projects. The most important thing is practical experience. If you only watch Excel tutorials, you may understand the explanation, but struggle when you have to create something yourself. If you regularly build spreadsheets, make mistakes, solve problems, and repeat the process, your confidence will grow. Excel can be a very useful skill for office work, business, data management, reporting, and freelancing. You do not need to become an expert immediately. Start with the fundamentals and gradually build your skills. The complete learning path can be remembered like this. Learn the interface, enter data, format data, learn formulas, learn functions, use IF, sort and filter, then create tables, then use lookups, then clean data, then create charts, then learn pivot tables, then build dashboards, then learn Power Query, then create real projects, then build a portfolio. If you follow this path consistently and practice regularly, you can move from a complete beginner to someone who can confidently handle many real-world Excel tasks. The secret to learning Excel is simple. Don't just watch Excel, use Excel. Goodbye.